Back to our GBOH Diadochoi. I don't know. So this is an interesting battle. You have Seleucus and Ptolemy gathered together, with Ptolemy marching forward to face the Antigonides. In this case, Demetrius is in command. So we've got somewhat less effective overall command over here, where the Ptolemaic forces, I guess, if you want to call them that, I mean, that's the majority here, have a couple of decent leaders, basically factional leaders on their side. What's weird going on in this, not only the size, but in comparison to the other battlefields, let's take a look at this setup. So you got a line of elephants on the Antigonide side. Nothing like that for Ptolemy. However, to protect him, he's got these caltrops. I know they say abatis. I don't have caltrops in 4th edition. But they're anti-elephant caltrops, and they're going to have a specific effect, which is basically they cause DQ hits to any elephants that come next to them, and no unit can move through them, into them, whatever. All right. What else? Well, not a lot of cav over on this side of the battlefield, especially for the Ptolemaics. They have a couple of light Egyptian cav here. We got the light cav facing them over here. Slight advantage, I guess, to that side. Over here, we've got a combination skirmishers, followed by peltasts, followed by heavy cav. But again, they're constrained by this kind of fortification type setup here. A larger line of heavy infantry on the Ptolemaic side versus that. So the big difference comes down to really, and here the cav is quite extensive, actually. A little bit larger, but relying a lot on lancers rather than heavy cav, which are not as effective. So a different composition to the armies. The elephants are the big deal. The elephants aren't going to get much traction against the phalanx and hoplites coming from the front. They're prevented from hitting here. Now, historically, I think they did actually just hit them. I don't know if these should be kind of secret or something. They're not in the scenario. Let's take a look at anything special. Whoever this dude is, Tlepolemus, can only command the Egyptian light cav. Well, that's only 2 units. He's not terribly good. The elephant line can have 3 empty spaces between it. The screens are, as they have been in this series, considered to have full skirmisher archers on them, which makes them pretty potent. And then we have the caltrop rules, which is basically a die roll worth of TQ hits if you move adjacent to it, which to me is pretty fucking amazing. So I doubt that I'll be using my elephants to attack that directly. Might mean some sort of outflank or something. Points. Demetrius has 45 route points. Ptolemy has 55. And I should write that down. Fortification, hence the small differential in route ratio. Yeah, that's about it. Next one's big. I'm a little disturbed because I put some games on here, but I still got a lot of pooch over there, and I don't know how to get rid of that. I was hoping it would get flattened out by, I don't know, a day or two's worth of pressure, but no such luck. Weird with this one, you know, in most of the GBOHs, there's no real incentive to attack or not. It's just the, hey, getting that first strike in sometimes gives you an advantage, like with the elephant lines, with the phalanxes, whatever. it's a lot harder to justify in something like this, where somebody's behind a defensive position. So what? What am I going to do? And I don't honestly know the answer to that. Right now I'm looking, well, our first is this light cav. Do I want to push that forward? It's a little better at skirmishing than these javelineers, and it can run away from them. So, sure, but it's not going to do much, It's just going to cause some hits at most, and might take as many running away. So I just don't know. Initiative levels of the leaders, it changes the flow of battles too. So the simple fact that this battle has an initiative 3 leader on one side and not on the other means that this will always be going first, and that means out of the 4 initiative leaders, and there's only one over here, they get their choice of which one to move first. So like the pulsing of the leaders becomes an important element of the setup that is sort of, I don't know if it's really taken into account in the design, and it can create strange repercussions, just, from, hey, there's a lousy leader, well, he has to activate first, and that kind of drives the initiative as to what else is going to happen. And we're seeing an abundance of caution on my side. After these light archers came forward, well, I pushed the light cav forward. I could have hit, but one of them retreated a couple hexes back, so that didn't happen, so I stopped and pulled forward. But then here, hey, not moving my phalanx forward, no reason to, want to see what's going on. So for this side, just pushing the elephants forward, and that's all I'm doing because I can't get a line command, and I don't know if I want to move my heavy infantry forward yet. And that pushes me to the next 4. There are none here. We got all the 4s, so now we're on 5. There are none here, so we do this wing, which again, I think I'm going to swing the elephants around. My idea being, I can't deal with the caltrops. I can't really deal with the phalanx head on. So let's try to get behind the enemy with them. This feels like not a real battle anymore. Yes, there were attempts to double envelope and stuff like that. That's what's going on here. But, wow. I mean, I'm just trying to skirt around the elephant, the anti-elephant traps, and get myself in a position where I threaten them up against them, and they're not good because you can't enter them, so they could actually cause problems. And trying to force the enemy to fight out here in the open or on the flank or something. Likewise over here, hey, don't want to face that, let's just swing around. There's not enough cav to stop anything in any direction. I see no reason, to plow through and hit those traps directly. And I'm having a hard time figuring out anything that I can do with the Tolmaics to prevent this. Now, the only thing going for them is that the points are better. So, But, yeah, I do not have a, ooh, this is what I'm going to do. Now, there are some possibilities. For example, if these start skirting around the side, I can try to trickle through the holes that I've left in those caltrop lines. And, then I could get my cav to hit the flank of this with the other cav swinging around and trying to make it back in or whatever. But, yeah, I don't think that feels particularly reasonable. I mean, it just feels like I'm left without, a sort of standard strategy. I can leave this bare because this is going to cause problems for both sides, honestly. I think. I don't know. Which puts me over to these guys, and I don't know what to do with them, I mean, normally, If I saw a movement like this, I would try to counter it, but again, I've got this defensive position, and I don't really want to let it go. I want to force him to commit himself further, so I think I'll just stand. I don't know. I kind of want to even keep the mobility of my heavy cav rather than mount it up for charge. Although there is some danger of these cav causing problems through the little holes in the abatis. I don't know. I'm gonna pass on these guys. I could try to slip some cav out here, but what does that do? That gives the elephants a target right now. So I want to get my enemy to commit himself a little bit more. Reminds me of the times I've played games where somebody's like, all right, I took my turn, it's your turn, or whatever. No, I'm good. Seems like an odd thing, but yeah, it feels right. All right, I gotta look up the harassment and all that kind of crap, because that's pretty much what I'm planning on doing with those if I can. Not really a good option under that. So the way this works is, where is it? You have to be within 4 hexes. Can't start an enemy zone of control. You fire your missiles at a range 1, but the target gets enemy reaction fire, and that's what I want to avoid. I'm facing javelineers here. I think I'm in this hex. I can shoot at them from 1 hex away, from 2 hexes away, without them being able to fire back. And that's what I want to do. I don't really want to give them a chance, even though I think the horse archer has a better table. I would rather have no chance of getting hurt, right? That is, I can do it, mechanically anyhow, but it just feels like the rules should allow for you to choose your range. If you want to fire at range 2, screw it, you don't have to move your pieces. On the other hand, this gives me a little bit more flexibility, so the hell with it. It's all right. And that pushes me over to the 4s again, and we got 2 of them available. Over to here, I feel like a certain level of commitment's been made. The elephants are coming over. Most of the cav is over here. Some failures to get momentum meant that not as much got moved as it might. Not much I can do here. Do I want to launch my line yet? Well, this is still hanging out there in kind of an ugly way that I don't like. Obviously, I can't launch my line quite yet, but I could start sliding my cav out. Oh, is it time? I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just going to move Ptolemy over. I'm going to leave Seleucus down here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh boy, we're getting awfully close. But it's not quite far enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, he can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got a little bit of room to play around. And the idea is to kind of get these elephants on the other side of the abatis and then move this way. And then, have this kind of terrain type thing, preventing the elephants from doing what they can really do to hurt me. For the Ptolemaics is, there's so little over here. This cav could slice over and maybe force that cav out, or force it to fight, one or the other. Forcing it back or to fight. Either one opens up a room for the elephants to start coming in, if that infantry line advances, even if it doesn't. But if it advances, there's danger. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is try to push these guys out of their protective position. All they're protecting against is the cav. The other option is to slice my elephants across and keep my cav to hit the back of the phalanx, and the cav is even more maneuverable than the elephants. Gosh, it looks like I've got a surfeit of good options over here. And over here, I don't feel like this defensive line is all that great. You know, if I don't move my infantry forward, this thing doesn't provide me with any defense at all. And I got to not only move my infantry forward, but slip these guys out of there. Not sure what my phalanx line is up to. It's just getting left behind because it doesn't fit into Demetrius's plan. Move that phalanx forward. The problem is I got a line command the first time I using the strategy rating, wisely following the rules. But the second time I didn't manage to get the strategy rating. So I'm just going to pass with the leader and do nothing. I've got drift to the right as a problem, and I've got these elephants over here. You know, they're gonna come around. They're gonna hurt me. The cav is gonna come around. It's gonna hurt me. It's all bad, but I can't push fast enough, far enough to hit those things and take them out right now. So I'll just hope that something works for me here. I don't know what, but I'm basically just crossing my fingers and thinking, wow, maybe something good will come of this. But it does not look that way. And the elephants have not gone yet. Ouch. Demetrius's side has completely moved. Some cav pushing over to face the heavy cav that's heading this way from Ptolemy. The elephants slipping behind the phalanx, you know. I've actually pushed the phalanx up, which I'm not sure was wise or not. But because I can cover it here, and because I got those cav knocked out, I feel, or, you know, not able to really have an effect. I feel pretty powerful there. This is the one place where maybe I'm committing my elephants down this way too hard, because we can slip out of here and cut up this way, and they're going to be a pain to turn around and get back into the line, or to come curving around to behind the infantry. Either one of those seems plausible, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can't face this kind of cav elephant line with what I've got back here, so I got to get away from it. And they just got a long walk, that's all, right? I don't know. Let's see how it develops. This just is not feeling like a plausible ancient battle to me, but yep, we all ran out of there, and I'm not rolling for a momentum with Ptolemy. I could push part of my line forward. That doesn't seem terribly wise. Moving my heavy cav, you know, I'm out of range right now, and that's good enough, I think. I don't know. Not if there's a momentum, but I can probably trump that. I got better leadership. I've got skirmishers and peltists facing those cav. That can't be good, but I really don't know what else to put in the way. And at least it's covering this flank. I got nothing covering this flank, which is one reason I thought about moving my heavy cav, but there's still 3 elephants out here. That's not something heavy cav are designed to deal with, and I don't really have anything that heavy cav are designed. I don't really have anything that can deal with the elephants, is what it comes down to. Let's take a look. Is there anything that can kill elephants relatively well? Not from the front. Chariots. If I can get flank attacks, let's see if my peltists can do anything. They're not that bad. They're not great. But yeah, I mean, really, other than being able to bring my heavies into the rear of elephants, I don't see much. Now, in this era, yeah, I was watching some stuff about how the Arabs dealt with the Sassanid elephants, elephants. And, you know, they sent light infantry right amongst them, missile fire and trying to, you know, really elite units trying to slit the whatever you want to call their saddle equivalent. But yeah, I think this is where I stop for this turn, and maybe for the night. I'm not sure. I need to charge my battery in more ways than one. Even the rather intriguing, if somewhat unbelievable situation that's playing out on this battlefield has not been enough to keep the wolves of depression from howling. It's not been a good couple of days, just sunk further than I have in a long, long time. And trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, but game-wise. Otherwise, I know I can't figure shit out. But yeah, we're in a situation where I've got my starting leader is going to be firing off over here. He's not in great shape. He can't control this area. I made the choice not to push these heavy cav forward, in part because the elephants, they're scary to any cav, but this flank's exposed, and that's screwed up. I would like to charge forward with these guys as quickly as possible, but I gotta act to that guy first. I'm allowed to trump him, but I don't know. See, if I don't trump him, this guy goes next, and these elephants will slam into the hoplites there. So I feel almost as if I must. All right. Trumping failed. Means I was able to get a momentum here, but I wasn't able to. But I did launch an attack behind the lines at the cav there, just to weaken this flank a little bit. I don't know how much good that's going to do. The primary concern is going to be the hoplites. That's where the elephants are going to go crashing into, and I wasn't able to stop that. Wait a minute. That's a leader in a zone of control. He can't give orders to things quite the same. There's restrictions. He's not going to be able to launch an attack out of there until he gets out of there. Rule I don't often come across because I try to keep my leaders out of the fighting. But yeah, he's not able to issue orders except to melee, and there's nothing he can give orders to melee on. But he's able to stay not finished, so I can kind of skip over him, which would allow me, if I can find my overall commander. Demetrius is my overall commander. He's all the way over there. So he's not going to be able to get over here and trigger an orders activation on these units. Now, yeah, I wouldn't. So there would have been a possibility with the elephant line commanders, whatever, if those elephants had engaged, but I don't think they have. That's just too complex a rule for me to cope with. It's optional, so I'm actually leaving it out because it's causing more problems than it's worth. But that means we're up here. Into a situation where the orders system for the game is probably stretched to its fullest. And again, this is a really odd scenario the way it's playing out. You don't usually see this. But I've pushed this line forward because I can skip him. And now we're on the 5s, and that's going to be Demetrius again. And, well, we're going to try to swing around, I guess. This is a little bit more problematic. I haven't figured out what the hell to do on that flank, but I got to worry about it. Jeez, I got Egyptian heavy cav coming around that flank. That's not good. Wow. Yeah. I might be better off bringing the elephants back and crashing this way. Demetrius divided up his forces. He's pushing some of them towards that heavy cav in the rear of, some of his elephants mainly, but his own heavy cav as well, towards the rear of the phalanx line of Eudemus. And I don't remember who the actual commander is. Thought it was Eudemes who's in charge. Oh no, it's Ptolemy who's in charge, right? Yeah, Eudemus came over from the Eudemean faction, but he wasn't the commander there. Okay, and on this side, we just started by launching a heavy cav attack over here. But we did push against some of them skirmishers and whatnot, putting some pressure there. It means that some of these lights can be a potential problem. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. I don't feel like I have enough leaders, but I have to tie down these horses. Momentum in play that allowed me to hit these heavies with lancers. That's somewhat disorganized. I've actually got a heavy in there, but that's somewhat disorganized. The Egyptian heavy cav. This is one of them running away. I had to get popped out. There were no zones there, so it was safe. And I also pushed, I forgot this attack on the skirmisher. I'm sure the skirmisher's dead. But it pushed an attack, or it pushed an elephant forward as well. I really am worried about that flank more than anything else at this point. I'm a little worried about actually the whole Demetrius line at this point, because my big wide move across here, getting tied down over here by this unit behind, has kind of left me handcuffed. Seleucus and Ptolemy concentrate on a couple of things. Bringing the cav around so that it can't just get charged easily. In range of those elephants, there's not much I can do about that except try to run. Well, I can't. I'm in charge formation. But most of the elephants didn't come this way yet. So I feel like I don't have that bad a numerical problem for cav, for heavy-ish cav. I think they're probably all heavies. Nope, there's some lancers in there. Okay. Against 3. That's not a terrible fight. And then throwing attacks in by the Egyptian heavy cav that was in the front, I think. No, this one, in conjunction with some peltists. There was multiple moves by different units, a bunch of fire by these skirmishers, like a couple rounds of fire trying to hit this lancer. Didn't do much to it. And then also pushing my line forward. And this is kind of interesting because I'm not pushing forward the line that's at all threatened by this guy. But there's some risk, these guys 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 can get hit anyway. But that was as much as I could kind of do. So that's the end of the round. I got some routing to do, but other than that, not much. And just a couple of points to move. After flipping things over and routing a couple of units, our points are 2 for Ptolemy. That's the total for the round. And I think it's time for me to figure out how to have some tequila. Having a leader trapped, I don't actually want to kill or rout that unit because that'll send the leader flying off. Instead, I'm just shooting arrows at it, hoped for a finished result, didn't get it. And I don't know who's who anymore. Got a continuation though, which is useful. I'm realizing I fucked up and allowed this guy to run, and he shouldn't have been allowed to. Which means that actually the attack should have been here and the unit here, and I gotta take care of that. And I'll do a shift, I guess. I don't know. The desire not to attack was a mistaken one as well. So we'll put ourselves in that position because this is going to be in range to command those elephants. So we're going to get swept out of there, but we got rid of a couple of cav at least. And we'll see what happens. I think we got a problem up here though. And we cleared up the leader problem with some elephants there, smashed in, went back up here to command my heavy infantry line and didn't get a continuation. This guy launched the hoplites, or the phalanx hoplite line forward. smashed into a bunch of them. Only the end one was at any risk, and then did not get a continuation. But now we're back here, and he's available, which means, well, his cav is still slower than those Egyptian lights, but I have enough force here overall to be able to really kind of chase him off the map if need be. And we've got a routed hoplite unit from the elephant that hit here, so that's actually a pretty big deal. Because of how few points there are overall. This is 12 out of 45. So, yeah. And Andronicus pretty much has won the day over here. We haven't routed this one Egyptian cav here. But, you know, I mean, I out-officer and outgun him. And we've each got a routed unit here. I can't do anything about my routed or damaged unit here because they're adjacent to an enemy routed unit. The battlefield's too complicated over there. But I'll be able to rally those units, presumably, as I did this one, within time. And let's see, we got another 4 over here. Yes, I thought we did. Apparently not. Which means I think we jump over to the 5s, which are here and here, as the chaos continues. That Ptolemaic screen got blown away. You can see both the heavies gone from there. The third one was actually destroyed by a combined attack, elephants and heavy cav. Basically, this required momentum to happen. I tried to trump that momentum, and that failed. And I didn't do the second. I didn't trump the second momentum, which I probably should have, but then I would have lost Ptolemy for that. But yeah, he's not in. It doesn't look good. You know, I probably should have trumped that second momentum as well. And we also had, an attack I didn't take advantage of on those peltists. Hold on. Other issues with this module, to tell you the truth, but certainly in this scenario causing me issues. So for example, this, I look at it and say, well, that looks kind of blue, and I thought that was 12 off here. No, it's 12 off here. And indeed, this is another 7. So we're at 19 losses there, and then there's more. We're closer to this edge of the map. There's more units routing. It's going to be really hard. The Ptolemaics are getting their asses kicked here by Demetrius, actually. It definitely helped not to just face these Abadis on their own. The defensive structure actually ended up causing, I think, more trouble. Yeah, I don't know. Because without it, I was definitely outclassed in terms of the elephants. And I'm having issues with my camera where I don't know if it's recording or not. Right now it's recording, I'm pretty sure. When I shut it off, it says record at the bottom, but that's because it's got like this stupid, you can touch the screen and get shit going. I think there's a word for that, like touch screen or something. It really pisses me off. I've got another one that does this too, but I couldn't get that one to work. I don't have the right kind of memory card for it or something. And I don't know. Anything with a touch screen I do not like, but whatever. The reason is the fold-out screen is the weak point on all these cameras, right? It is the thing that breaks on every single one of my fucking cameras. I've got like one where it's just the power cord, which is an issue. I think it may have an issue with the screen too, but I've got a ton of them where the screen, the connector cable for the screen has come loose, And it's theoretically repairable, but it's a pain in the ass to get at and to remove the screws for it. And when it comes down to it, I spent like an hour trying to do it with a cheap one that I'm like, okay, this is, you know, my oldest, worst one that's got this problem. Let me fix it if I can. I couldn't get the damn screws out. And I'm like, you know, it took me an hour to figure out, to come to the conclusion that I couldn't get them out. And then the cost of the cameras is like basically worth an hour of my time. It's the same kind of problem I have with my fucking glasses that I can't fix. You know? It's like, well, yeah, I could spend a ridiculous amount of time on this, or fuck it, I could just spend money. I hate the idea of throwing shit out that I know is easily fixable, but it's not fixable by me, and it's not worth fixing in terms of bringing it to someone, because again, the hour it would take me to do this, maybe it takes 20 minutes for some repair guy, but they're going to still charge me more than it costs, you know, to get another cheap old camera. I just got a comment on one of the earlier game videos from this series. On 8.23, the reaction fire, apparently there's a change in 5th edition where you don't get double reaction fire if a unit moves into a hex and fires at you. Very clearly here, there's no such... I was referred to 8.23, and there's nothing in there about it. And a unit may perform reaction fire any number of times during enemy movement as long as it's not missing. No. And that's always been the thing that, like, it felt funny to me, you know, to be able to fire as they move in and fire as they fire. But it does kind of make sense, right? They moved into the space, you got to fire at them as they're coming. They stopped, they fired. You get a fire at them at that point. So I'm willing to take it either way, and the rules are pretty clear and explicit to me in this version. The fact that they changed it in 5th edition, you know, I'm not going to hunt down all the changes, especially when this one, it kind of came up with a reasonable argument for why it works the way it was written, and I'm not really convinced that you move near somebody, you take fire for coming in, you stop and fire, and they don't get another firing opportunity. I'm not sure I buy that. I've convinced myself very much that I actually accept how it's written in this edition. It's one of the things about GBOH, though. There's a lot of little stuff like that where I had to come up and check and make sure I didn't just miss it. Because I'm notorious for getting, you know, missing rolls and such not. But there's also, even if you're playing this a fair amount, you're probably going to miss at least 2 or 3 little rolls. And the only way that, you know, that gets changed is really by playing with other people. Because you end up absorbing, hey, the mechanisms that work, or you look in your rules. But in this particular case, I actually think I like the way I'm playing it better. So I'm not gonna pencil that one in. I'm not gonna go look that up and pencil it in. I actually kind of prefer it. All right, let's get back to this as I cook some potatoes. Potatoes, which are a difficult thing for me to deal with now. They used to be a staple, but yeah, they acquired emotional significance. I do believe I missed putting some missile nose on some of them peltists who I think were engaged. I'm not so sure about this guy. Pretty sure he wasn't, actually. So we'll put that there. I'm not positive this guy, I think, was in order to help an attack. I'm not entirely sure what all happened. But anyway, this is the position that we're in. Units routing in various directions. The more map you have, the more you're winning territory, the longer it takes for your units to leave the map. little bit of chaos going on down here. Let's see. These are all Antigonus's or Demetrius's units. Ptolemy and Seleucus, though, look like they're the same color. And this is one of the Ptolemaic units here. So everything's not as blue as it looks back there. But yeah, we're clearing things out, and we're at 33 out of the 55 points that Ptolemy has to lose. He really kind of has to crack the main line if he's going to win, and I didn't try to do that this turn with Ptolemy himself. I was going to throw him in there, but I had what I thought were more important, just shots to weaken this shit. Some of these things, though, that Demetrius is doing were a little questionable. So like attacking the Peltasts, not only is that iffy, but I could end up stumbling right into those Apatis if I had succeeded in dislodging either of those LPs. And now, now I'm kind of tied down facing them, and that's not particularly good. I don't have superiority against them. I've got a good table, I wonder if light infantry are any good. I think I checked this already against elephants. Not particularly. They're great if they can come in with a flank, but we're not going to get that option. All right. Time to go check on my potatoes. I think this may be it for tonight. I was hoping to get this battle done and set up the next one because I don't know. Because I don't have the rules for anything else that I'm reading right now. Like, if I was going to squeeze another game in between, I would have liked to have done that, but I kind of chose, well, this is a small battle, let's just keep going with it. But it's taking as much time as the big ones are because, less pieces, less routing. Jump off the next turn with that Egyptian light cav. I destroy one of the turn to
Let's leave a nice space between them syllables. Destroyed one of them that was routing because that was about the best I could do. And then a light cav and an elephant went in, finished off his unit. Now the leader survived. He's useless. I could just kind of take him off the board and forget about him. But he has the capacity to run away, and he could actually be attacked conceivably. That involves basically surrounding him with zones and all kind of crap like that I'm sure is not worth doing, which is why I say I could just remove him as far as I'm concerned. Did not get a momentum over here, but positioning additional units to slip in behind the phalanx, and there ain't much that's able to deal with it. Both leaders in the line. I can hold off moving him because of that, which means we slide down to 5s, I guess. And God, I can't tell who's who because I got Python here. He's, I think, associated with Demetrius. A different color than Ptolemy, but not by much. And it's really hard to view what's going on. The choice, I don't know why the Ptolemaic counter, and the Egyptians for that matter, for this module were chosen to be that color. We'll see. Maybe the next scenario makes that make sense, but man, it would have been nicer to have them be a very different color than they are. That's it. I mean, this is hardly discernible to me, that difference. Maybe I know that I have some issues with blue-green, but anyway, the big push resulted in a rout of one of Demetrius's hoplites. That's a big amount of points. I don't think it's enough. Well, I know it's not enough. I was hoping for continuations and being able to break the line, because I have the advantage on the line right now. But I will not once and if some of this crap can get behind it, or some of this crap can get behind it. So my hope was like to just get incredibly lucky. I had like 3 units that I could have broken. Instead it was 1, which is not shocking. It's fucked up completely, of course. Attacking a blue unit with, a Demetrius unit with other Demetrius units. Yeah, we got to back that up. The whole idea here was, hey, let's pin the heavy cav with charging heavy cav and then hit it with an elephant, and that's all great. But actually, I don't need to do that. So I got to undo everything that I just did there. And again, this is the color thing, I see this near him and I think it's his, and yeah, it's not. So after yet another failure where I didn't take the abatis or the caltrops into effect, launched the attack with a flank attack from the Lancer here. I tried to make it so this Lancer would be able to get a flank attack. That did not happen. He was careful enough. So I hit him with a really hurt Lancer. There was a chance that thing could just break, but it didn't happen. And instead, we routed that heavy cav. And now I guess we're up here. Lucky. Python or whatever up here launched some attacks with his elephants, smashing mainly skirmishers. But I did hit those peltists there. Sent them routing, great. Ran into the caltrops and rolled a 0. Now, only a 0 or a 1 would have survived, so that's pretty cool, actually. Python's running down to try to rally this thing. He's not in range, but let's see if he gets a continuation. And if he does, whether I want to trump it. He does. Oh, wow. Do I want to trump this shit? I got a very good chance. I can't do it with him, but I got a very good chance with my 6s. And honestly, this guy's kind of not doing me any good whatsoever. So I'm going to try. Because I don't want him rallying that. I want those points. And I fail. How about that? Rally didn't work. And we got Python back up here. Played around with his elephants a little bit. Not much. Just, yeah, I don't want to go plowing in and have a chance of dying here against some skirmishers just because there's caltrops there. That doesn't seem worthwhile. I feel like I've done a pretty good thing knocking out one of the good leaders, and that kicks us. I could still launch an attack there. That doesn't look like a great attack. Yeah, I don't think I want to fight this battle over here, so I think I'm just going to hold off on him. Where's my other 5? I used him over here, so that leaves me with just 1 leader. And we may be at the end here. I'm not sure, but there's a fair number of points going off the board. And, this is what he was useful for, was rallying these. So it may have been a risk I couldn't afford. Big push in the center doesn't look like it was enough. I broke another big unit, but that's going to put me at 26 here. I got another 14. That gets me to 40. He's at 45. Is anything routing off the map? Not except for these 2. So we're not going to break him. Are we broken? Probably. And it's probably because I tried trumping there. Crap. That was damn close. So the deaths here. Brought him up to 50, well, brought him up to 40, 5 points short. 1 more big unit cracked, and it could have happened here very easily. Certainly a continuation would have allowed it to happen on a number of units, but this one had to make a check. This one may have had to too. I think several of them did, but anyway, several checks. Again, only broke 1. But over here, that was 21, 22, 23 more points. I miscalculated, I guess. 23 more points, which put me up to 56, 1 point over the breaking limit. This was a hell of a lot closer than it was looking a little while ago. You know, I mean, this flank won, everything over here won. The center almost gave, though, and that would have been it for Demetrius. So, you know, it was a close shot either way, really. I liked how this battle turned out, even though something felt so fishy, especially with these caltrops and moving around them and all that kind of crap. But this weird terrain thing essentially created a different type of battle than we've been seeing. Obviously, this would have been a lot easier, I think, for Demetrius if he didn't have to go wandering around those. That gave Ptolemy a chance to smash through. A continuation could have broken this very easily. And with only a 1 point differential here, break another unit and it's over. It's Ptolemy's battle. A Pyrrhic victory, but it would have been his. Really, really exciting. This is my favorite so far of this module. We'll see what the next one brings, but yeah, I really liked what happened here. And you know, if I didn't trump in, I wouldn't be broken, and we'd go another round. What would that other round bring? That's hard to tell. There's not many more points here, but boom, you know, this isn't looking like it's going anywhere, but also boom in the back there. So it kind of had to be this round. The battle was being lost, and that's what's so exciting. That's what I like about this. What turned out here was this: hey, you're on a time limit. You had better keep smashing into the front of the heavy infantry, and just, you know, see if you can pummel your way through. And I mean, you know, rallying might have saved me the loss, but another side of things would have been, if I didn't rally, I could throw him up here and just keep pounding away, right? All right, and I mean, I probably could have done both, but didn't get the continuation on a 6, didn't get the trump on a 6. A lot of bad luck turned what was a deceptively close battle into the victory for Demetrius that appeared like that it was going to happen automatically, pretty much. All right, up it goes.